Hi, friends. See the smile? I hope you're smiling too. Oh my goodness, what a fantastic day. I hope your crafting cup is full. And I'm just reading some of the comments here. Some people, a Scrappy Steph says she's recharged and refueled. Susan says, my hubby made dinner. Yay for that. And Carol says, my dinner's still cooking in the crock pot. I'm sure it smells delicious. Good afternoon, Trina. Hi, Dorina. Hi, Linda. Amazing. So happy you guys are here. Yay. Last class of the day. I tell you, I've been listening to the classes, all the instructors, and wow, so many awesome ideas and inspiration. And I think we're all going to be washing our double pages at the back, right? Okay, so quickly, don't think I have a question for you regarding layouts. Don't think. So everyone just chime in, single or double. So I'd like to hear your thoughts. So just what is your first preference? Single pages or double pages? Just hit me up with all your answers. Anyways, in the meantime, we are going to be crafting some pages using Carta Bella's Craft a Good Life. I thought this was so appropriate for a weekend. Like, what better way than to celebrate our joys and passion, what speaks to our hearts, than to create pages about what we love to do. Crafting, right? Anything paper crafting. Okay, all right, the comments are coming in. Fast and furious, double, double, single. Sandy says double, single, single, both, double. Okay, friends, you know what? I can ask that question any time of the day, and I think we would get different results. But I think the common consensus is one or the other or both. Okay, and so that's kind of the premise, or it's going to segue into how I've designed my pages. Love it. I love everyone is saying what they love. But I'm sure there are occasions where you will just do a single if you're predominantly a double page layout and vice versa, right, friends? Again, it's all paper crafting. It's all what we love to do. Okay, so are you ready to get started? Hopefully you've got my class kit ready. You've done the prep work. I saw some, or I think it was Kelly. She was die cutting. Okay, we got you, girl. We got you. This is recorded, so you can catch up anytime. Normally when I teach our virtual events, I do cut the papers with you, but I thought I'd change it up this time. So I had some homework. It's, again, my paper cutting is, I think, super easy. If there is a prep video in the password protected page, it will take you at max 10 minutes or 15 minutes tops because I cut the papers with you live in my prep video. I thought that 15 minutes will give us a bit of a breather when we're creating our pages. I know it's 5 o'clock, and for you, your stomach's growling and you're craving dinner. So I thought that would be just a great little buffer for us to kind of just chill, relax while we do our crafting. Okay, so when we get a chance, let's do, if we can just go onto the desktop, Douglas, when you ever get a chance, and we could start crafting. So here we are. Look at this. Look at this beautiful pink dishes. How many of us are using those pink dishes this weekend? All right, so here we are. So again, I'm just still seeing all the comments, and it's varied, single and doubles and both. All right, okay. So I designed sort of within mind that some of you are single pages, right? This would be a great single page to just kind of document your craft space. Again, this right side is a single page, great to document your crop and create. But if you happen to want to do a double, there are some really easy tried and true techniques that I use to stretch the papers over across to create a double page layout. Also, keep in mind that this was a collection kit, so you only have one paper of each pattern. So again, I'm going to share with you tips if you happen to be working with a collection kit that you can just easily just stretch those pattern papers over a 24-inch span. All right, so let's talk about just quickly this layout. It is a crafting layout, and I really wanted to just kind of I don't know. I think Crop and Create has just given me so much in terms of memories, inspiration, all the people connections that I made. And I really felt compelled to really create a page about that. And so that's what was the inspiration of this Crop and Create page. I know many of you are really, this may be your first time, but I hope this is not your last time. So let's celebrate those moments of all our crop and create crafting journey. And as you can see here, there are some really nice fans here. Now, again, if you're a newbie, you're thinking, what are these fans about? Well, I'll give you a bit of a history or backstory for just about 30 seconds, if you can allow me. So I'm just going to share with you here. Look at this photo. Look. Okay, so this is kind of our little history of our crop and create fans. Here, look at this picture. Look at these two gals. Look how young we are. I don't think anything's changed. All right, so you see the backdrop? Those are some tissue paper flowers, and that was the backdrop we had at our in-person events. And then that backdrop changed to fans, also at our in-person events. And then when we went to virtual, we sent fans in some of the boxes. And here you see, actually, this is, Douglas, you might recognize this. I think this is Gail's room. Oh, so, yeah. Yes, oh yes. Okay, so these are all the fans in Gail's room. So you might have some fans decorated in your craft room. And so that's the story of how we've designed this crop and create die set, which you're going to use. Okay, all right. Laura asked question, are the prep classes recorded? Yes, of course, that you can rewatch. They are actually right there on the website. For my class, there are 2 prep videos, paper cutting video and a die cutting video. So absolutely up there for a while. Okay, so why don't we grab our papers that we pre-cut, and I'm just looking where I put them. Here we go. Oh, before we start, oh yes. So here is the Happy Crafting Collection by Cartabella, as well as the Sun-Kissed sticker sheet by Echo Park, which we'll get into later for the next 2 pages. All right, so this pile here, you should have something that looks like this, and I would have called it Group A in your prep video. And these are the papers that you're going to need to create these 2 pages. So I'm going to set this aside so that I have this example to refer to. And of course, you have your beautiful instruction booklet designed by the wonderful Lisa Hetrick. So we are on page 52. Okay, so we're on page 52. And again, look, very simple, some very easy assembly steps we are going to get through without any worries. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is grab our layout bases. So that would be your solid pink paper and the large striped paper. And we're going to actually, let's assemble page 1 first. So we're going to set this one aside. Okay, so let's just keep this one front and center. This is 11 by 12. And then you should have in your paper pile a 12 by 1 inch strip with the branding strip attached. Okay, so this is an easy way to create a page base with papers that are from the collection. So the branding strip is going to be your bonding area. You're going to have adhesive right there. And look, once you put that together, you have your 12 by 12 page base. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab your tape runner and run some adhesive right on that branding strip. It's the perfect landing spot for your adhesive. And it makes measurement really easy because this is, a 1 inch wide strip that we've pre-cut. I have some glue on there. And then this is an 11 inch wide strip. And ta-da! Look, 12 by 12 page base done. Boom. And I love that this pink coordinates with this pink. So this solids kit is actually from the Echo Park Our Story Matters collection. And I thought it went really well with this Cartabella collection. Okay, next step, we're going to then grab from your cut pile those 4 little navy strips. You remember those? Okay, so these are going to be placed on the right side of our page, and we are going to mimic what your craft space might look like. Maybe it's your dream craft space, or maybe it's the way your craft space is today. All right, so This is the example here. So we are going to be using these navy strips as shelving, and we're going to create crafting shelves. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue those navy strips to our page base. And I'm going to start about the second line here. I think I have in the instructions show it starting about 2.5 inches from the top, but I'm just going to kind of eyeball it here. I'll use my example here just to see where we are. And I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth white strip is going to be our next shelf. Okay, so we can glue that on. And then I'm just going to glance here to see if there are any questions that maybe I should be addressing before we get too far ahead. So keep adhering these strips up the right side of your page. Erica says, I followed my advice on keeping the branding strips. Yes, I love that. Okay, the third strip is 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess the fourth one. We'll just kind of place it there. Do your shelves look neat and tidy like this? I wish mine do. They kind of do when I get into that sort of declutter or cleanup mode, but most of the time things are just on my shelf. All right, okay, look at that. Now another idea you might have is, I know a lot of you have those IKEA Kallax shelves. Would it not be so cool to kind of create maybe that 2x4 grid or a 3x3 grid, maybe another page idea? That would be cool, because then you could put sort of in each little cubicle a little grouping of some tools. Okay, so that's our shelving. Now let's grab our sticker sheet set from the collection, this one here, and all we're going to do is start building what we want on our shelves. Also, from this group of cut paper, you should have this album, 2 rows of albums. Don't we all wish that our albums look that neat and tidy? We're going to use some of these albums just as a bit of, for some height and dimension on the first shelf. So go ahead and cut out, I have here 2, 4, 6, 7 albums from this bottom row, starting with this floral piece. So I'm just going to, just with your scissors, or if you want to use your trimmer, whatever is fine, we're going to cut out some albums. Now, you know me, I like dimensions, so I like to pop things up as I'm creating these scrapbooking shelves. So in this case, the box of pretty pencil crayons and markers are popped up. That is going right on the shelf there, flush. Okay, and then we're going to pop up the box of crayons. I'm going to just grab my free adhesive, foam adhesive. So I like to do this when I'm working on pages that I know I'm going to be using a lot of foam tape. So I know this comes from a roll, but I like to just have the strips out so that I can have it handy and not have to keep grabbing my scissors and the roll and trimming it, so that it's all prepared for me. Okay. Becky says, I love the shelves. Hey, Becky, how are you? And then also when I place it on the shelf, what I'm going to do is actually place it lower, so you kind of have that 3D relative kind of perspective. And behind there, I'm going to tuck behind that cute little pink camera. Who doesn't love cameras? There we go. All right. Next one, we're going to have, I believe this is like the stamping tool here. It's the craft sort of stamping tool with some scissors. And then this tag called crafting makes everything better, even a Monday. Totally agree with that. All right, so these 3 stickers, we're just going to group like so. Okay, and that's going to go right on the right side of the second shelf. Oh, love this red typewriter. So I'm going to pop that red typewriter up, and then behind the typewriter is layered the green container of paint brushes. So I'm going to just layer that before I apply it to my page, as well as I'm going to grab the little palette of paints, which is right below this typewriter. And then I'm just going to angle it behind the paint so that you can kind of see it. So those three elements, and we can pop them up. I love this crafting sticker sheet because it has so many tools for many of the things that we use along in our every crafting day life. I love the glue gun, the typewriter, and look at this cart. That is so cute. I don't use that, but that would be awesome to use on another page. All right, almost there. Next shelf. We have, what does this look like? A crocodile. Yes, I love my crocodile. Or maybe it's a hole punch. And then a spool of twine or fibers. And we're just going to angle that. Okay. Should I zoom in just a bit maybe? Would that help? A little bit. All right. There we go. And do you see, friends, when I'm layering stickers, I tend to have or layer them before I put them on the page. So I just find that way it kind of gives me how things might look, if that sort of makes sense. So I know I'm going to be layering that on top or in front of some more albums. So let's just set that aside and grab our album paper and cut out three more albums. And again, there are so many albums on this sheet that if one color speaks to you, for sure, use that. So that's going to go in the center. I love these albums because they give height to the shelves. Okay, and then we're going to grab that hole punch with the twine and we'll just pop that up as well. So Debs asked a question. She says, I'm confused when we attach the pink strip that we cut to 1 inch with the branding strip to the 11-inch strip. It only gives us an 11.5. Okay, I think in that case, that 12 by 1 inch strip excludes the branding strip. So that pink piece should be 1 inch, and then your branding strip would have been another 1/2 inch. So if that is the case, what you could do is, let me think about how you could correct that. Let me just give me 1 second here. You could cut maybe another coordinating color from a piece of paper that we have and then just make that up. So either make up another 1/2 inch, or just, if you could, remove your smaller piece and then cut another 1 inch pink piece, which I believe you still have some in your leftover piles of paper. I hope that helps. Okay, so let me just revisit in the instructions. Okay, so let me just do a quick boo here and put my glasses on. Just going to go to my cutting guide. Okay, so in the cutting guide on the first one, it says cut a 12 by 1 inch strip and keep the UPC code attached. So this is 12 by 1 and you keep the UPC code attached. This pink stripe, horizontal stripe, is an 11 by 12. So 11 inches plus 1 should give you the 12 by 12 base. I hope that helps. Okay, so next here we have a pile of, I think it's like folios, which I think is really neat. So that sticker goes onto the second part of this shelving. And yeah, I popped that up as well. So Deb, I hope that makes sense. Give that a review and then let me know if you have any more questions. Okay, so last shelf, look, we're moving along here. We have some fans here, so that's going to tie in from the fans from the other page. So go into your die cut pieces and grab any fans you want. I have you die cut more fans than you need for your page. So if there's a particular fan color that you prefer versus what I have shown, like go ahead and use that. Not an issue at all. And you know what? I just remember we're going to add these fans after because I'm going to show you how you fold some of those fans. So let's go ahead and then place our die cutting machine and our glue gun on the bottom shelf, knowing that we're going to tuck in some fans behind it. Okay, so glue gun, look at that. Hot glue gun. Who has used a hot glue gun in the past recently? That I think is a blast to the past in terms of our tools. And this die cut machine goes right there. We're going to pop that up. Just remember, maybe leave sort of the top right corner free of adhesive because we'll tuck in those fans behind it. And you can add, if you have a de-sticky tool, a great idea. Or if you see what I'm doing, I'm just kind of using my fingers here, just tapping it on the bottom, kind of de-sticks it too as well. There we go. All right. Easy. Okay. So really this page, in terms of the visual, it really gives a sense of exactly what this page is about. It's about crafting, right? All the crafting supplies. So on my example here, we have the photos here. You can have any size photos. I chose to use a portrait photo and a smaller portrait photo. You can decide to put a title here if you want. I have these fussy cut flowers, which we can do. I'll do a few. I know it was part of homework, but I didn't do my homework, so I thought I'd fussy cut with you in case you haven't done it. This is the paper. It's called freehand cut flowers. And I would say for these two pages, you would need about the top third. I mean, all of this is still for you to fussy cut if you like to do more. So for fussy cutting friends, who likes to fussy cut? All right, for fussy cutting, just a tip, I am ignoring any of these little finite little greenery pieces. I don't need to fussy cut those. In fact, the larger green pieces, I might just cut them out separately and then layer in them as leaves. And again, you know, when it comes to fussy cutting, I just go with the flow. In fact, it's the opposite of fussy. I don't get too fussy about how I fussy cut. Okay. All right. And I'm just curious, anyone who has the botanical knowledge, what do you call these flowers? Chime in here, please. I just sort of call them posies, or what do they look like to you? Do they look like a bit like peony kind of type of flowers? So in this case, you know, I might just layer them. So just because they're together on the image doesn't mean they have to be together, right? This is how we roll when it comes to fussy cutting. Okay. So I'm just wondering, any clues, any ideas what these flowers are called? The paper says they're freehand flowers, so if I guess we just go with that. All right, so interesting. Suzanne says, I'd rather gnaw off my foot and beat myself with it than fussy cut. Oh my goodness. Okay. All righty. Well, How about you don't fussy cut then? Because I want your foot to be intact. I have alternatives for you. You can use the fans. How's that? Use the fans uh, to layer under your photos, or maybe you have from some of the other class supplies. Maybe there are some florals there. Please, let's not stress out too much about that. But you see, folks, you see how fast I'm going? I'm just kind of free forming it. I know some people love to fussy cut, so they're probably, sitting in front of their TVs, or, listening to a favorite audio book, just kind of at their craft desk and cutting away. I know. I think fussy cutting is like a question of, do you like cilantro or not? There is either yes or no kind of answers to that. So I get it. Jane says, not a fan of fussy cutting. Okay, well then let's use some fans. Here, how about that, folks? For folks who don't want a fussy cut, how about you use those fans? What do you think about that? Maybe if I have some extra ones here, maybe I'll do that so that you'll see how it looks. Okay, so folks, almost there. Look, see, fast. This piece, I just really love the green. I just want to capture that because I know that will be a nice layer. And again, a tip, I know Megan mentioned this earlier in our class, fussy cutting is really about moving the paper and not your scissors. And that's exactly the easiest way to do your fussy cutting. And as Mari had mentioned in her class, she has her favorite Cutter Bee scissors. You just have to find the scissors that work for you. And when she said she lost hers in a trade show and had to buy a new pair, I totally get that. That would be me. See, look, almost done, folks. See, even the images on the side of the paper, you want to keep those because those are great for just layering and letting the half flower or the third flower show. So don't forget about those images that you see on the side of the paper. Still okay to use. There, that wasn't too hard, right? Look, done. Okay, I'm just gonna grab my example here so I have it handy. Okay, so flowers. So here on the left side would be for photos, and I had suggested some photo sizes. Again, if you want to use different size photos, you are absolutely more than welcome to do so. So I have here a portrait orientation, and I even printed off some photo placements. So I have in this one 2 little smaller photos. Again, you could go for a larger photo. You can go for square photos. You can go for even sort of photo booth strips. That would be kind of neat. If you have a bunch of, photos that maybe you want to take at a crafting retreat or something that are fun, that would be good on an angle. I here have on my example here photos of kind of everything that I do on crafting. I have a get-together. I have a photo of myself in my craft room, and then I have a photo of myself crafting on my own. So all those activities I like. On my own or in a group. As long as I'm crafting, I'm in my happy place. Okay, so that's the photo placement. So shall we go with flowers? Let's just lay some flowers out. And you can see where you can layer the flowers. Okay. We could try fans. Why not? Let's do some fans while we're here. That way you actually see some possible options, right? So again, you could layer some fans. See how many you have left. You could do it that way. You could even cut some fans in half so that you have a few fans. So you could layer some fans here and layer some fans there, a title, and you're done. I'm not going to do that right now because I do want to go over how we're going to fold some of these fans. So I just wanted to give you the idea. But I will place my photos here on the left side to secure that. And if we have time, we can come back to it. So Jane says she has 4. Yes, I believe you. 4 sets of different scissors for fussy cutting. Oh, didn't help me? Oh, okay. Well, I guess you're probably on the search for some more. But I know with fussy cutting, I like scissors with shorter blades. And then for this particular set, I like it because I can get my hands right into the scissors and then just really maneuver it that way. Okay, so the left side is done. Yay, that came together very easy, and I can't wait to see you and your craft spaces. Let's move over to the right side of the page. The fans here. Okay, so we have in our homework, we had die cut from some strips, some of the fan shapes. So before I go into this, let's just talk a little bit about the set. You have the Crop and Create title and the shadow, which is amazing, so cute. And then you have the delivered little mail that can go in the letter O for Crop and Create sort of delivered. And then we have these little circle, penny circle garland dies, solid, and then an outline shape. So going back to this photo here, that's where the inspiration of that comes in. Okay. And then some of these fans, 2 sizes. I called it a small and large size. Questions. I'm sorry. Let me just double check a couple questions. What scissors are you fussy cutting? These are, this brand is called the Westcott brand. They're a pair of scissors that I've had for a long time. And actually have a few of them because in case I lose one, I still have my favorite Westcott scissors. What paper did you use for the photo mat? It is the mint grid paper. Okay, so in your cutting instructions, I'm just going to go back to here. Mint grid paper, the second measurement is 12 by 3 3/4, and it's cut into the photo mat sizes. Okay. So let me see if there are any other questions around paper cutting. I don't think so. I think we're good. All right. So for the fans, these are scalloped fans, and you'll notice there are some score lines and perforated lines. So that's just to give it, the fan, a bit of interest. We decided to go with both just so that you could see sort of a dotted line and a perforated line. I will mention that because the Cartabella paper is thick, you might not see the lines as much, and that's why I have you fold some of the fans just for a little bit more texture. So why don't we go ahead and do that. On my page, I would say that I have about at least one of every color folded, and it's the ones that are lying on top so that you see it immediately. So let's go ahead and grab, excuse my voice, a one from every color. So a small, it doesn't matter, small or large, but in my case, I'm just following my example, a small dotted color, a large mint one. Okay, we're going to fold these. And actually, I have another mint one, a white one, white small one, and a large pink one with the white flowers, and then a small solid. So let me just organize this like that. This is what I have in terms of the sizing. Let's go ahead and grab another small pink one. And then on this page, I think I had another one folded. Did I? Yes, I had another dot one. the multicolored dot one, a large. We'll do this right now just to give you an idea how it's done, and then you can and you can fold them along with me, okay? So what I'm doing here, friends, is that on this example, I've added some textures with the fans, and I'm just going to show you how I quickly fold them to create those creases. You're going to need some washi tape as well. I have to grab my eyes here, my glasses. Excuse me. Okay, let's grab this multi-dot one. You could zoom in just a little bit so that you see what I'm doing. Okay. Pick any of the, what I would say, the score line, so the solid line. And I know you can't even see it here, but if you look onto your fan, just pick a solid line and cut from the outside edge into the center. And when I say center, I mean into the center. So you're going to pass the little tiny circle. You're going to pass that and right into the center, okay? And then we're just going to start folding. You can fold two options. One, you can fold on the, as you can see, the next line would be a score line, like a perforated line, or a larger section, which is the next solid section. So I'm going to do both. I'm going to do first the small fold. So I would be folding on a dotted line, on a solid line, on a dotted line, on a solid, etc., etc. Okay, and as you're folding, you're going to notice it's kind of thick. It's okay, but keep going. As you're folding, you're only going to fold in one direction about halfway, because if you keep folding, you might end up tearing through that center. Okay, so just here, I'm just folding. And again, the reason why I'm doing this is that I find that it adds just a bit more interest to your fan. As well, when it's a pattern paper, you don't see those lines as clearly as you do when it's die cut on a solid cardstock. So I've done about halfway through. I'm going to start on the other side and meet up. So I did a value fold on the first one. So this one is going to be a mountain fold. Now, again, you don't have to worry too much about that, but I kind of just want it to, when it closes, as if it's continued folding in an accordion style. Okay, so I know it's thick. I know. Kind of keep with it. Okay. There. All right. And then after it's folded, we're going to open it back up, and then we're going to tape it at the back. Okay, with washi tape. And again, you don't have to be too exact. No one's going to know that you didn't fold exactly on a perforated line or a scored line. So we're going to have washi tape, and we're just going to close up our fan again and then tape it shut. Okay? So that you end up with this accordion style kind of fan. Okay? So I'm going to repeat that. Now here, I'm going to fold the larger section, so you'll see which one you like. This one will be easier because you're folding on all the sort of solid lines as you're working your way around the flower. Okay, so I open that back up, and then here I will continue to fold on the bigger sections. So again, it's just to continue to add texture to the flowers, or to the fans. Here I'm saying flower fan interchangeably. I'm sorry. I mean fan, but I think my head is also going to, as you know, I always like to think about how things can be used differently. I also see this as a flower too. How many of you see them as flowers? Hi, Angie. Hi, friend. How are you? So good to see you. So I'm going to continue folding on the larger sections. I'm totally okay with that look. Again, if you like sort of more pleats in your fan, then you can fold on these smaller sections. Okay. So it's giving the look of, those rosettes that you normally would make, and you need if you do know how to make rosettes, when you have a long strip of paper and you have score marks or fold marks like every 1/8 inch, and then you have to fold fold it according to style, and then you have to wrap it around and pinch it in the center, and it's a little more time consuming. This is kind of the same effect. So I'm going to continue doing this, and then I will see if there are any questions. Or are you all busy fanning your folds or folding your fans? Are you a fan of the fans is the question. Kathy says, I love this technique. Awesome. Yay. Sonia says, glue guns are great for sealing wax stamps. Ooh, that is really interesting. I love that. Okay, let's continue. So, in terms of these fans, I love the little fine, petite scalloped edges. Like, I literally swooned over them when I saw the result of how they cut. Because I love scallops, and when they're so petite like this, in my opinion, you can only achieve that shape with the die cut. If it was a punch, because I have scallop punches, I find that scallop punches, when you punch it out, because of the scallops, it's hard to get the paper back out of the punch. And then if you have an electronic die cutter, which I'm sure would cut a scalloped circle just fine, I find with electronic die cutter, you don't get that nice, clean, sort of forward-facing beveled edge that you get out of a die cut. So I really love the look, the petiteness of the scalloped edges of the fans. And how many of you see flowers from these fans? Can you see cutting the fans out? Here's a tip. We purposely size these fans so that the smaller fan would perfectly mat a 1 3/4 inch circle punch, and then the larger fan would perfectly mat below a 2-inch circle punch. And if you were tuning into my Doodlebug class, you saw that we had created some placemats placemats and used those circles, and then a delicate scalloped edge was revealed underneath some circles. That was intent when we sized these fans. Aw, fan of the fan for sure. Yay, love it. Okay, here's something out of left field. Does anyone see, I don't know if because it's fall time or because it's near dinner time and I'm hungry, does anyone see pumpkin pie? You're thinking, what? What is this girl talking about? Okay, so I'm seeing from this fan shape, if you were to put a circle in there and then cut that circle into sections, it would be a pie, would it not? Right? Yes. Okay, so here we go to fans, to flowers, to pie. See? All right, I have one last fan that I'm going to fold up. What is the time? It's 5:45. What time did I start? 5? Oops. Okay, yes. Douglas is saying yes. Okay, all right. This is actually the more timely part, is folding these fans. So I think we're good. We're on track. We're good. All right. So, I randomly made about, what do we have? 8 of them. I think that's a good amount to add that bit of folded texture to our fan backdrop. I'm just going to zoom back out again. So now, why don't we go ahead and add with liquid glue, add some of the centers to these fans. So if you remember part of the homework, we would die cut out this garland outline, and we were keeping just the centers for the center of the fans. If you notice on my layout, I don't put centers on all the fans. I felt like it would be almost be too much, and in fact, you don't see some of the centers. So having said that, I'm going to change my mind now. Let's wait until we put all the fans on and then apply the centers. Okay. All right, so grab your 12-inch page base, okay, and you could go ahead and trim off this branding strip. Okay. Now, I just want to show you. So I'm going to keep my page orientated this way. So the branding strip was on my right edge. I'm going to keep it this way as my page base instead of, say, normally maybe turning it this way, because this way I know that this will always be the same 12 inches because that is a manufacturer cut. All right. So here's your pink 12 by 12, and to that we're going to attach the, I should have a 1 by 12 inch striped pink paper, and then that goes on the left edge, flush onto that on the left side. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and build our top here. So this is where you just start grabbing the fans. Why don't we just sort them into piles according to the patterns? That might make it easy. And then actually maybe if we can kind of separate the sizes, we can easily kind of vary up the sizes, the patterns, the colors. We're just creating a really sort of colorful mosaic with these fan shapes. What's your favorite pattern here? You know, my favorite pattern is this multi-dot. I love that. I love little multi-dots. Okay, so I'm going to start off with, and the mosaic or the collage or the big fan placement is pretty much on the top half of this page. So we're making a really big statement. So I know I'm going to just start gluing some of the base, and then I'm going to layer some more fans using foam adhesive. But this is kind of, you know, just some really fun, I would say freedom, free play. Just layer, you know, layer as much as you want. You know, the good thing is that these are die cuts, so you can die cut more if you wish, use less if you wish. It's all totally up to you. And this is, I think, where I'm going to pop one up. So I'm going to grab some foam adhesive and just pop that one up. All right. And then we'll have a little mint one here. Pop that up. So even if, let's say, your space, you're thinking, I don't really have any fans in my space. I can't really use this layout. Yes, you can. Of course you can. Fans are just a celebration. It's just. I think it's just a really fun, whimsical shape. I kind of almost treat it like a floral. So instead of florals, fans, right? Or like, you know, even like balloons. Gives it that kind of party feel, I think. Can't help but to celebrate with some fans, right? Okay. Then I'm just kind of more working my way here. So even though I'm adding dimension to the fans, I can still layer them. You see, I could just tuck that below there. Okay, so that's, I'm thinking I'm kind of missing one here. So now here's another thing. you can actually cut a fan in half like that and just kind of layer it. See? You can do that too. That's a great trick to kind of trick the layering of the fans. All right. And again, if you, as you're placing them and you think, oh, I want to pop some up, that's easy to do. You could just lift some and pop them up. But I think I'm liking how this is looking. All right, so I think everyone's just talking about fussy cutting still, right? Okay. All right, I think we're still good. Nothing, no one is saying, help, I'm lost, right? So I'm tending to cut there, kind of liking that. And then so here I'm just kind of putting like kind of the framework or foundation, and then I'll fill in sort of my method here. Maybe I'll do like that. So I know my title will go here, so that just gives me some room. Okay, so it's looking pretty good. What else? Kind of feel like that one should be popped up, so I'm going to pop that up. Okay, see? Pop that up like that. I'm really liking this pink because I find that it softens, sort of it leads into the rest of the pink. And I think I just need kind of one right there. And I'm good. I'm good. So as you see, there are a lot of fans left over. One should go right there. Perfect. I love that. Maybe one kind of like right there, a little bit of green, right? See how you could just kind of layer them, tuck it in, that, okay? All right, so I'm going to save a few of them, one folded for my first page, so I think I'm going to do that. So there, I'm going to save the mint one, pink one, and the dotted one for my page one. The rest of this is extra. Okay, I'm just going to clean up my craft space just a bit. I find that if I don't clean while I craft, things just kind of get layered and buried, and, well, you know the drill, right? All right. Okay, so this is where we're going to put our centers on. So I'm just not going to put them on all of them, just sort of the top ones on the page. You see how that's going to look? See, that one kind of needs a center, right? And for some reason, I don't have, oh, I do have a pink one like that, okay? Now, you could use enamel dots if you want, or sequins, or whatever you want. So I need a white one, like so. Oops, like that. I think I need a white one there too. So that's kind of how, oops, as I'm seeing that, I need one there. Okay. So that's where I'm going to put my center dots. So I am going to take some liquid glue and just quickly put centers on my fans. I think they are darling. I mean, you could put them on all of them, sure, if you want to. Absolutely. All right, while I'm here, why don't we do that? All right, perfect. Okay, so now we're going to add the Crop and Create title, Or maybe what we'll do actually before that, maybe we'll just place our photo mat just to make sure we like the placement of our photo mat along with our title. So I have you cut a long photo mat. Now, if you prefer to use different size photos, of course, go ahead and do that. But this photo mat, I was thinking that because we have a large embellishment area or large embellishment grouping of things here, it's very large, that we would sort of balance that with a larger photo strip. So in my example here, I actually have the photo strip here, and the photos are actually touching each other to sort of form that that one photo. I mean, unless you have a large photo printer that can print all that, but I thought that this was a good way to just have all the photos butt up against each other, and that creates my long photo strip. Okay, and then to finish this page, we're going to add the crop and create title and the fun garden and the journaling spot, which of course you can add. So I'm going to go ahead and just place my photo mat on the lower portion of the page. You can tuck in some floral pieces here, or let's look to see if you like tucking in some fans. See, you could almost have that as a possibility, right? You could do that. That way it looks like it's a continuation of a backdrop. So many options here. I hope that you can find one that you like. Okay, so this crop and create title will just go right there. We can pop it up. Put this a bit lower, I think. Just want it just a little bit lower. And then you can pop up your title. And there we go. Okay, so let's add the garland pieces, which I love these garland pieces. So these are the garland pieces. Now just think about if you had glitter paper. Wouldn't that be beautiful? You could cut out the glitter background solid piece and then have, you know, the outline on top of that. So I thought that might be a really pretty option. I have my liquid glue here. Oh, here it is, my glue stick. So this is it's not finicky. It's just if you need a glue stick, I like to just kind of dab my liquid glue onto the outline. Make sure you have some scrap paper underneath so that you don't ruin your project. And then it just goes right on top. I love that it just gives it another dimension. There. Look how pretty that is. Look. Okay. So we have 3 of those strands. You can use these die cuts independent of one another. You can definitely just use the backing as a solid piece, or even just the outline if you have something really delicate that you want to highlight. Like it would be great for a card, just as a background. But I love how this is just inspired by something, you know, kind of in real life. And I just love that it's kind of coming to life. Look, I love it. It would look cool if it was a contrasting color too. So in other words, if it was, say, you know, look at that. It won't match up. But imagine if you had like a blue outline on top of the yellow. That would look nice too. There. All right. So hi Jana. Hi Mari. Nice to see you guys. All right. Almost there. Okay. So here we're just going to swag the little garland piece. It's kind of in between the fans. I love that. It makes it so whimsical. So here I'm going to take one and just kind of swag it kind of like this. Okay, it's nice that it goes, that one end is tucked in and then it tucks in somewhere on the other end. So I'm just going to place it so that that can happen. Sort of connects like that. There. Maybe over the top and under there. See? And then we're going to do another strand. Let's say you can even just tuck. You see? We're just going to tuck it like that underneath. Or maybe we need something on this side. How about we do this? Like that. Okay, let's see if that will work. Okay. You know what? I might actually move a fan or put one on just so that I can have that tucked in. So maybe I'll just move you, little guy. I think I might just do that. And then maybe add a white one like that. Okay, why don't we do that? There, like that. And then we can cut this shorter. Just kind of use it like so, okay? We'll save that other one, the smaller piece, onto page 1. So another thing about these thin garlands is that when you trim them, you can swag them in kind of like 2 different sections, and it would still look kind of fun, right? There. Okay. All right. Let's get this a little bit straighter. There. Okay. So fans, photos, journaling spot, and you can fussy cut out some of those floral pieces, and they would go underneath here like so. With some greenery, you could add that, okay? Or you can add some of the fans to sort of tie that in as well, tuck those under. Or you could do both. Let's see. Why not? That would be kind of cool like that. Something like that maybe. And then your journaling spot right there and photos. All right. Okay, so that is your second page done. I'm just going to quickly talk about it as a double page. So remember, I asked in the beginning, single or double, don't think. Well, as you can see, this totally works as a single page. And then for this becoming a double, all we do is we extend the pattern of the stripe, and that immediately makes it into a double sort of layout in terms of drawing your eye from the left side to the right side, and the fact that then it's flanked by the same pink base. So that's sort of the fact. Those are the things that tie this together, as well as the large fans on the right side. And then we add in a little small grouping of the fans with the garland on the left. So you could totally use that as one double page, or you can separate them. So before we move on, I want to share with you, and I said that in my live, about the stencils. Okay, can we talk about the stencils? I shared with you the story of the tissue paper flowers, and I thought, we're creating a die set that celebrates sort of our crop and create crafting journey, and I felt that having the tissue paper flowers is part of that. So although I didn't use it in the layout, I do want to share with you how it's going to be used. So maybe before I do that, maybe I'll share with you the end result and then show you the process. Okay, so let's just maybe not close your eyes, but imagine this is your crop and create, you could have a tissue paper backdrop like, ready for it, like this. Ta-da! Okay, like that. So now that's tissue papers in 2-dimension. Or I have another idea. You could have a tissue paper backdrop like this. There, look at that. That's totally in 3D. Douglas is laughing right now. Look how cool that is. I love it. So this is using the fan dies on actual tissue paper. And I'll show you how easy it is to crinkle up get this flower effect. So two options. Is that not the coolest? All right. Tissue paper option number 1. We're going to grab your stencil. And I have here I want to make sure I don't have enough copy paper. Maybe I'll 1 second. Okay, I will use the back of this. How's that? This green. Okay. So you have a stencil here, and this was created to mimic that sort of layered tissue paper look from a 2-dimensional perspective. When we first designed this, I said, okay, with the tissue paper flowers, we want sort of like that tissue paper flower look, but we want to actually then cut it out as a circle. So in case you didn't have a circle punch, this first image would give you that circle image. But I sort of have changed my mind on how we can use this. If you go ahead and cut out your die cut out of white cardstock, but don't use the front, which is the scored lines and the stitch lines or the perforated lines, we're going to use the back of it. So it's a little flatter, but it will still work. So because we've already cut it out as a circular shape, you really don't need to use this piece to create that circle outline. What we can use are bits of it in terms of the flowery edges. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. What you need for stencils, first thing is you need blending brush, an ink blending brush like this. So if you're new to stenciling or this is sort of foreign to you, like what are you talking about? This is now sort of the tool of choice, I would say, that most people who use stencils is a blending brush. So this one happens to be from Gina K, but there are many companies that create blending brushes. Okay, I need another white paper that's flatter because this is 2-dimensional. So here we go. I'm gonna stencil on this white. But before I do that, let me just check. I'm sorry, give me 2 minutes. I was sure I brought more paper, like scrap paper. All right. Okay, friends. I just want to make sure that you can see clearly. And I don't want to get the SCT desk all inky. So that would not be good. Okay, I think we're set. Green background. We've got the scalloped white die cut, the back of it. We're going to place our stencil, the first one. And again, this is such an easy stencil to use. You don't have to worry about stenciling one image and then moving and aligning the second image. Because it's a flower, it's all organic anyways. So let's go ahead and place the first image over that scallop. And instead of stenciling or applying the ink in a very concentrated motion, I want to try to avoid that hard circle outline. So in this case, the first one, I'm just going to pounce it because I want to just get some general shading along my outside edge. Okay. So there it is. So I know it doesn't look like much, but it's just very, very subtle. I'm going to just zoom in a bit. Second one, I'm just going to place it again in the center, and I'm going to ink. La 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 la. Nothing fancy, just ink. Some places are darker, some are lighter. It's okay because the tissue paper flowers should be very kind of dimensional. Just it's all wrinkled, right? Then that's my third image. I'm just going to ink again. Now, if you want it darker, you just keep applying more ink. But you see, I'm just very easy, carefree, not really worrying about how things are applied. So again, my fourth one, yep, Da, 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 da. Fifth one, I'm not even going to ink. Maybe I'll just kind of keep it light. And then the centerpiece, I will just ink again, and then maybe I like it a little bit darker. Okay, so it's all varied, right? So then in the end, you end up with this. So I would just use the stencil brush again and just kind of soften that white. Just soften the white cardstock a bit, right? And then I would use it to just kind of feather my edges. You see how that just feathers out the whiteness, kind of softens everything up there. Isn't that pretty? So that is your tissue paper flower. Now, again, this stencil, because it's supposed to be a floral piece, you can, if you don't like this scalloped edge, because you think maybe it kind of looks unnatural as a floral, you just take your scissors and then just trim out. You can make this into a real floral piece. And then add some leaves. And then that would be beautiful. Okay, so then that's your floral piece as well. All right? Okay, so I hope that makes sense. You just, and by the way, you actually have double the options of creating the organic flow, because you could flip your stencil around and use this side as well. So you have actually sort of 12 ways to get that layered floral look. All right. And of course, if you use a dye ink, you just take a wet paper towel and you clean your stencil that way with a wet paper towel. Easy peasy. Yes. So that you can create if you do just a bunch of, and of course, the great thing is you can use any color ink to create any colorway of your backdrop. I'm just looking for that piece that I shared. So here we go, something like that, right? So you can, these are sort of those crop and create titles, but I could imagine this very soft, maybe pink and white. It would be beautiful. Imagine this in the shape of a heart. That would be beautiful. Okay, so stenciling. Awesome. Okay, so now let's get back to tissue paper. Yay! How cute is this? So to do this is so simple. Okay, it's really just die cutting the scallop dies on actual tissue paper. So, and in terms of layers, this die cut can cut through probably 12 to 14 layers. So you know how tissue paper comes in, folded in those packages? I just took what I had in my stash and started cutting. So don't worry about, taking each tissue paper layer, layering them. I just take that stack of folded tissue paper. It's folded for you already, and just stack them and I cut through them. So here, I think there's probably 8 layers. Doesn't feel like 8, but there's a lot. So once you've cut your stack of tissue paper flowers, you're just going to secure it in the center with a staple. So this is a mini staple, or a large staple will work, or even a brad. Or maybe you have embroidery floss. You want to just do like an X stitch. Anything to secure the stack of tissue papers together. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the first layer, and you're just going to kind of hide your attachment piece by just wrinkling up like that. See there? Yep. Zoom in just a bit. Ooh, there we go. Okay. So you see that? What do you see in the center? You see a nice little center. You don't see my staple. You don't see anything. So then you just take your next layer, and I have to wear my glasses for this. You take your next layer and you just kind of crinkle it again, okay? And you just kind of crinkle each layer towards the center. Again, there are probably 10 layers here, so I'm going to go on the table here and just do this, okay? See that? Look. And you just keep going. So this is a great craft for your helpers that like to help you craft, but they say they aren't crafty. Well, put them to work creating these tissue paper flowers. How cute is this? You can crinkle 2 at a time and then maybe separate them. But again, I love the scalloped edges on this die. It just makes everything so pretty. I'm going really fast here, but you just would peel each layer back and crinkle it, like fold it, crumple. Like there's no right way to be messy about this. You just go with the flow, okay? See? You just kind of fluff it up a bit. Okay? Like how fun is that? There you go. Okay. So imagine you have this. Okay, this is another. I'm just going on a tangent here on what you can use this for because I think it's fabulous. Okay, so I have here another one that I made. But it's probably is it a different size? It's slightly different size. But okay, this was, yeah, this is a small one that's larger. But imagine they were the same size. Look, if you put them together, do you imagine you'd make like a tissue paper ball, like a ball, it would work. And then imagine, creating your own garland. Would that not be the cutest? Okay. All right. So there you go. You guys get the idea, right? Like that. Anyways, so that is my idea for real tissue paper flowers. All right. Okay, so then you can create a real backdrop of tissue paper flowers. I hope, zoom out. Okay, the zoom right out. That's my lesson. Tissue paper flowers, 3D or 2D. There are so many things to do with this die set. I can't wait to actually create a few more things for you, and I'll post them in the group, but those are just some ideas. Okay. All right, so let me just grab the page. Okay, so actually, let me just go back to the first page here. So this is where I would add some of those fans. And again, you can decide if you want to add those fussy cut floral pieces or more fans. But we are done our first set of double pages celebrating everything crafty. So please let me know if there are any questions. And if not, we can move on. All right. Okay, so I think everyone is looking good. Oh, Kelly says, remind me of carnations. Yes, absolutely, for sure. Okay, so I'll leave this up here on the screen while I get the rest of our supplies ready for pages 3 and 4. So you have had some amazing fall projects that were created with you. I thought I would throw in a page that celebrates a bit of summer. I hope that's okay. And I used the rest of the Cardabella papers to create some summer pages. And we're going to use the stickers from Sun Kissed Collection by Echo Park. Okay. All right, let me just, I feel like I just want to take my hand and go, whoof, but I don't want to. So let me just, as much of the far edge, right edge of the corner I can get without spilling over. I'm going to just push everything out of the way. All right. What's your craft desk looking like these days? I hope it's messy, because messy is good. Messy means that you had fun. Okay, there we go. We don't need the dish anymore. All right, I think the reset's good. Everything looking good? All right. Okay, so the next set of pages, remember how I said single or double? Again, same concept here. Pages will work as a single. So here's the single. And then here's another single, okay? But as a double, it works how? One is that the layout or the framework is the same scale. So it's framed by the same margin. The colors coordinate. The same blue appears on the background of this blue. The collection is the same. So obviously the hues and the tones of the paper is the same. What I've tried to do is to mimic the same layering effects. So on the left side, you've got this great rainbow of layered strips. And I've used that same layered concept on the bottom portion of this page. The strands here sort of tie it together of giving it that whimsical look. So that's how I've tied this together as a double page, as well as the photo mats are the same pattern papers. So those are a few ways to tie pages together. These are tips that you can use. Let's say you made this page and then you're going through your photo stash and you think, oh, well, I want to make a second page. Well, those are some tips to kind of take you from a 12 by 12 to a 24 by 12 layout. Okay, so I'm going to create the pages separately on their own. And let's start with this left side here. So grab your set of papers that you would have pre-cut. And for this left side, I have used this beautiful rainbow striped paper as my inspiration. Lisa says, I love these for birthday too. Absolutely, you can do it for birthdays. So before I go on, let me just talk about this piece of paper, which I love. Okay, so this is how it looks. This is how it would look if I was in a scrapbooking store and I would see this on the shelf and I would be like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna get not one, but two for sure, and maybe three. Okay, what is this paper saying to me other than like, pick me, right? Okay, so this paper one I love because it has all the colors of the collection. And for a few reasons, let's say you want to just cut a title out of blue. Well, this is essentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 colors on one piece of paper. If you want to border punch a strip of something or cut some words out of something or just have that layering of colors. So one piece of paper basically gives you the entire colorway of the collection, which I think is amazing. Another one is that this paper to me just screamed really sort of the fringing, because I think that's what I'm assuming that's what the designer here was doing, is that the shadows here was implying sort of fringing on that sort of 2D level. So if I look at this paper and think, okay, well, let's take it, one next step. And I'm going to actually deconstruct this paper and actually fringe it and then layer it. So that's sort of my idea when I first saw this pattern paper. Okay, so now here's another curveball I'm going to throw out to you guys. Let me just, before I go into it, let me talk about it. So here's the layout. You see here, I have fringed it. So I did that with these awesome fringe scissors. I believe these are by Stamping Up. So these scissors make it really easy to make fringes. So now you see the look of the fringes. Now, I don't want you to feel if you don't have fringe scissors that you can't make this page or it won't turn out as good. So here's an option. Would you want me to show you this page without the fringing? Maybe we'll just distress the edges as a possibility. Or, okay, I brought this out. I don't know if it's going to work, but I brought, what does this look like, friends? Look. Do these things still exist in your world? Okay, this is called a paper shaper, those funny edge scissors. Yes, we could funny edge scissors each of the strips. So let me know. I was just thinking of giving you the option because you see the example of the fringing, which I love because it gives you that texture, it gives you that festive kind of feel. But in case you don't have fringe scissors, I could just show you a different way. So let me know, chime in. In the meantime, okay, before I see which way we're going to go, in the meantime, whether you're fringing or border punching or doing something else, this is just an easy way to do this. Is I'm going to cut the strips in two rows. So instead of cutting the rows separately, I'm going to go cut them by two. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 cuts. All right. I'll just share with you why I'm doing that. Okay, so instead of cutting it at the pink and teal, I'm going to bump it up and go the next set. So I'm going to cut them in twos. That's basically what I'm doing. Okay. People are saying fringe, distressed. Please, distressed, please. I love the fringes. I do love the fringes as well. Okay, so I'm seeing a mix of both. Okay. I'm thinking that because I've already fringed it, that I'll distress it just so that you see it both ways, and then you can decide on that option. I hope that is going to be okay with everyone. All right, so why did I cut them in twos when I'm going to eventually separate them? So here it is. Okay, let me just explain this. If I'm fringing it, I just feel it's more, it's easier to handle making any edge treatment by physically handling a larger or wider strip of paper. So if I had just trimmed them all, then I'm handling a smaller strip. That's just me. So that, you know, I would fringe, and then turn it around and fringe, and then I would just cut it up the center. So that, in my way, is just a little more efficient. Okay, so people are saying, I love the fringe, but maybe show how we can distress. So distressing is just simply taking your scissors, and I'm just going to do this, like place it in a V, and then start distressing, okay, like that. So it's just a distressed edge. There are distressing tools out there. So this is where having more leverage on a wider strip helps. You see here, you can handle your paper. You can handle your paper and you don't have to struggle with it, okay? And then you would just flip it and then distress the other side, okay? Teresa says, I have edge scissors. I don't want to get rid of them. I agree. I know. It's hard. Okay, here's fun fact on my decorative scissors collection. I think I had about 20 of them, okay? Because they did sell them in huge sets. I have dwindled down to my favorite edges, and I think I have now about 8. Okay, so that is the distressed look, okay? And then you would just continue that. Okay, folks, if you have your fringe scissors, then go ahead and fringe your edges, okay? But I'm just going to continue along here distressing. You have an option to fringe by hand, right? I mean, like not by hand. Of course, we're cutting by hand, but just fringe with normal scissors. So you would just take your time and cut through along the edge. In fact, you can even use these shadowed marks as your guidelines, okay? So question is, when fringing, how far into the strip do you cut? That's an excellent question. I would fringe about 3/4 of the way up, okay? Or actually, I would say that's 2/3 of the way up. So I would say not more than 3/4 of an inch in, because you want to leave that margin at the top for your adhesive, okay? Okay, so again, the questions are, if you're fringing, not more than, I would say, 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. You want to leave enough room for you to place adhesive on your strip. So we have a question. Maria says, I have a big photo collage, and will fringing some stripes only left and right a little bit? Yeah, you can absolutely do that. If you want to say just fringe by hand, so for sure, you can do that. I don't know how this is sounding over the airwaves here, but I'm almost done, friends. Almost done. Okay, one other note is that the top of your paper, which is this light pink and orange strip, on my example, that's the top. So I only fringe the orange piece of it, and I'm not going to cut through that. So that's the only piece that is going to be one block. If you've already cut through it, no worries. But I'm just want to let you know that that is going to be one piece. Okay? All right, almost there. So what we're going to do because I'm fringing this, I'm going to then, as I'm putting it onto the page, I will be curling the paper up to give it that sort of layered look. Okay. And if distressing, it's okay if you rip the paper. That's all part of that distressing look. And if all you have are scissors and you're doing what I'm doing and you still want to fringe, by all means, you can just hand cut your fringes. In fact, maybe I will do some of that. See, you can hand cut your fringes like that. So hopefully I'm giving you many options, friends. And it doesn't go too bad. I mean, I'm just doing this in real time. So that was fringing by hand, folks. Look at that. So if you like that look and you don't have fringe scissors, no worries. I just did it. And that was easy, right? Okay. So again, I'm just going to do a little bit of cleanup. This is where I need that desk vacuum, right? Who has a desk vacuum? I think I saw here that someone has a desk vacuum. That is probably a handy thing to have. Okay, folks. So now that we've distressed on either side of our strips, we're ready to go ahead and trim them now down as physical strips. So again, we're going to leave the the light pink and orange strip as two pieces. And I'm going to distress my orange piece right now. I just noticed I didn't do that. There, okay. All right, so let's go ahead and cut through our strips. You can use your scissors or you can use your trimmers. And I'm not too worried about having to cut exactly because they're going to be hidden as I'm layering. So as you're trying to trim this and you're thinking, oh, I can't cut right on the edge where the two colors meet, don't worry. Approximate is good because you won't see that part. Okay. That's why when you distress it on both sides, the middle is the part where you're putting adhesive and you won't see that part. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and grab our blue base, trim off the branding strip. Okay, and this template or this area of this layout measures 10.5 by 10.5. So we are going to start from the bottom, about 3/4 inches up. So I'm going to place my adhesive, so 3/4 inches up. We're going to center that on either side, okay? And this is kind of maybe where we can, if you're just distressing, just kind of like flip it up like that, right? See that? Just kind of make it distressed. Next color is this turquoise. And we're going to glue it just so that the bottom covers the top of that pink piece. Okay. All right. Next is this light green. So here's a good time to just kind of distress the edge a bit. And it's thicker paper too, so it's easier to do this before you put it to your page. Okay, so that's going to go like that. Again, just right above the top of the strip below it. I ran out of adhesive, but good thing that the SCT has some here. Thank you. Okay, the next is the light pink. Again, just flip your edge, distress it a bit with your hands. Okay. There. So you can always go back in and fringe it with your scissors if you want, after you've distressed it, if you want to do that. Okay, so the blue, how do you keep the fringe from flattening in the page protector? Well, it's if you actually lift it, and then of course it's going to lie flat, but it won't completely flatten in your page protector. The page protectors is slightly larger than 12 by 12 because they know there's going to be layers. So there will still be enough room for it to appear that it's layered. Okay. So now we've got the yellow. We're just going to lift the edges up. You should be okay. If you sort of flick them up, the fringes up, before you place it in your page protector, you should be fine. Green, almost there. So this is kind of like I like this look, actually. It looks pretty good. How do you guys feel about the distressed look? Hopefully you're not too distressed about it. Okay, next, I'm just going to now dry fit the next rows because I want it to fit within a 10.5 by 10.5 framework. So here, as you can see, it just needs to come down just a bit, and that's okay. That's where our final adjustments will be, and we're okay. Do you see that? So that, I'm going to make the adjustment here on this blue strip here. That it just needs to be brought in a little bit tighter. Okay, so instead of just overlapping the top of the green, I've overlapped it about 1/4 inch. So when I place this one on, it's now 10.5 square. Okay. All right, Jane says, I like it. Excellent. Okay, all right. There we go. Excellent. Okay, so now we're going to grab the 3.5 by 6 tag. We're just going to create a cute little tag element, a tag title. So go ahead and grab your sticker sheet. This is where I am. Okay, so we're going to grab the plaid border and we're just going to layer a piece at the bottom. Just let a little bit of the yellow poke out as well. And then we'll trim that. And then return the rest of that plaid border to the sheet. Save it for something else. Okay, this is one where you can decide how you want to place the elements for your title. I have sort of a picnic theme, like a barbecue theme, but certainly you can do another theme or any other icons that you see here. So all of these elements are going to be popped up for dimension. Here we go. Found you. Okay, so I'm going to pop up the picnic table. And I love the plaid border because it's a nice little grounding strip for this grouping of stickers. That charcoal barbecue is so cute. Oh my goodness. Talk about nostalgia, right? I mean, I remember the days of family picnics at the park and the charcoal barbecue. So fun. Okay. So what sort of themes are you going to create for your title? Let me know. So I have here summer as my title. There is Beat the Heat is another option. Okay. So I'm going to pop up the title word summer. Or it could be the subtitle. I mean, at this point, there's so many words on this layout. It's really a summer theme. Okay. Now, there is the memories, summer. So memories, summer. That is from your crafty sheet. So memories is just going to be tucked in, popped up also behind the word summer. Okay. Actually, should go down just a bit further down like that. Now, I love the set of lights. Isn't that so fun? So I have here that you're going to just sort of swag that strip of lights across. So I'm going to trim it at the 5th light. And again, I'm going rather fast here, but take your time. I also like to pop up the lights as well. Take off the little sticky backings. And there, how cute is that? Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're going to create a little ribbon piece. You should have in your cut pile. Now everything is not organized. Okay. Yeah, see, this is real crafting math here. Okay, so you should have in your pile a 1/2-inch strip of the yellow. Just create 2-inch strips out of a V, and then you're going to tuck that as a little ribbon below your tag. So at one point here, as you're going to adhere the title onto your layout, because it's layered, it's best to use foam adhesive for that. So as part of your die cutting homework, we have cut up some more fans. So I've got my fans here. So these fans, we're going to use as sort of like placemats. It's great to highlight some sort of summer memories, summer food memories. We're just going to layer a small fan onto a larger pink fan. We'll do that 3 times. So again, on that sticker sheet, there are so many icons. So I have here a burger and soda and some popsicles, but I see, fruits. I see, fruits. I see, drinks with umbrellas in there, hot dogs, all sorts of fun sort of summer foods, okay? So you can pick which one speaks to you. I've got the popsicles. I'm just going to layer that on top. I have the burgers. That's so cute. And the drink. Where's the little soda? Okay. So I have that popped up on one of them. And then the last one here beside the word summer, I have just these cute little cherries. I don't know, I just think that cherries remind me of summer, like fresh cherries. Oh, love that. Okay, so that I'm just going to tuck underneath my summer. And then this is just kind of a grouping around my title piece. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and pop up the title tag. So ideas, I love it. Pool party, state fair, yes. Those are amazing ideas. I was thinking also maybe Caribbean vacation. How is that? I think we all have somehow beach on our mind. I don't know if it's the change in weather, maybe, that has us all thinking beach. There, okay. And then we're also going to pop up the little hamburger piece, okay. Right here, kind of just accents the tag. And we're going to tuck in, I think we still need foam adhesive. It's just easier to tuck it into the layered pieces. All right. To finish this off, we have our photo mats. How cute is that? Okay. So again, it's probably better to pop up the photo mats. So you'll notice on the example here, the tabs here, they are from the crafting sticker sheet. True story and memories making. So I thought that was fun to use for this page as well. Okay. So the next part, we're just going to grab from the sunshine, sun-kissed sticker sheet, the word sunshine, the sun, of course, layered with some clouds. I love that. And the sunshine with the sunglasses, how cute. Okay, so that is going to be popped up right there. I love that. Okay. I know I'm working really fast because I've got that big clock looking at me. So, folks, I know it's always like this near the end. We always try to just quickly put all the finishing touches on, but I think basically you are okay once we've put together our layered background. So the last point I was going to make here is I love the strand of lights, and I thought it would be so fun to continue with the yellow sort of swagginess, and this kind of mimics the lights as well. So I'm trimming this swag or this garland shorter, and as you can see, I mentioned before, because they're thinner, it's so easy to change the direction of the swag, and it still looks great. See, look how cute that is. There we go. Okay, so we have a place for journaling, and then some crystals, or the gems that you have in your event box. So I'm just going to bring down the example here, and you should be able to just add some finishing gems, your journaling spot, and your photos, and you're done. Yay! Okay, so we have a few more minutes. I'm going to quickly go over the last page, and looking at the time, I will get you started, and you'll be able to finish it on your own. So are there any questions so far on this page? We are moving on, folks. Okay. All right. So for this page, similar concept. I have fringed here, so you can fringe or distress. And the same thing, I'm just going to grab that piece of paper. This is our paper. Okay, so friends, you have this big block of albums. So what we're doing here with this portion is that we're doing exactly the same thing. we're taking each album row. So why don't we go ahead and do that? I'm just going to actually first trim it to 10.5 inches wide, because again, the layout is 10.5 inches. So 10.5 inches, it doesn't matter from which side you trim from. Okay, 10.5 inches. And then let's just trim off one album row and you'll understand how I use this paper. I love repurposing repurposing this paper, because right now on this layout, it doesn't look like albums, right? So if you're fringing, you're going to basically use the end of this label tag as your center point. So if you are fringing, just fringe kind of right up about 1/2 inch through, okay? 1/2 inch. Don't go past those the black circles there, because that's going to be too far up, okay? Oops. Then you're going to, on the other side, fringe, again, the same amount, about 1/2 inch. So these fringe scissors do make fringing very easy. Okay, friends, so you have fringed on either side, the top of the albums and the bottom of the albums. Where you're going to cut is right, I would say, at the point where that label of that album is. That's kind of your center point. Okay, so right sort of there. Okay, I'm just going to zoom in. Okay, so I have fringed about 1/2 inch on either side, and about right there is where we're going to trim the strip. Okay, friends, so you have your fringe strip right there, and also a fringe strip. So when you are layering your strip, you have a 10.5 by 10.5 blue piece of paper. You're going to just layer it like so. Okay. So again, if you're distressing, you could just cut where I showed in between the center there. So there's your fringing. So you would continue that with the rest of these two. So again, you can cut each album row out. Okay. All right. And then you would fringe about 1/2 inch along this edge, 1/2 inch along this edge, and then cut. So I'm going to cut just so that I can layer all the strips down, because I'm just looking at the clock. I think I'm going to go over a few minutes, but not too long. But I just want to go over exactly how I created the layered stripes on this page. So again, if you're distressing, you could just take your scissors, distress it, and create the same layered distress look as the first one. So if I were to pretend that these were fringe, which I will, so this is another look. This is just a look of it not being fringed or distressed, just layered, just repurposing, not repurposing, just looking at paper at a different way. This sort of reminds me a little bit like painted shingles. That's kind of where I'm at on this. Painted shingles. Does it look like painted shingles to you? Like, do you know, sort of like on the East Coast, you might find an art installation like this, possibly, right? I'm getting that vibe. So again, I'm just layering it. I'm just kind of fast forwarding how this is put together if you're just tuning in and you're wondering why I'm not fringing. But I just want to get the basic composition of how this page is put together. I want to show that how we did that. I love the variety. Once we split this paper up, how it just adds so much, I don't know, just varying colors and textures, right? Okay. All right. So that's what you're going to end up with. Okay. So the last piece is, remember that rainbow paper that we talked about from our first page? So that's sort of how we're going to tie this in as a double page. Is, you have the rainbow set of colors, and that's going to be our sort of top layer. So let me just show you the example here. Okay. So that's how that is. And so in fact, I actually have, let me count how many rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we don't actually need the top one. I could just use that as the finishing touch. So I'm going to trim this to 10.5 inches long, because that is the size of my layout. Okay, so we could fringe this. Okay, let's go ahead and do that while we're here. So again, we're fringing that series of rainbow colors ties in on the left side. That's why I'm using that here. Okay, there we go. So that's how we build this page. There we go. Okay, so now all that is matted onto pink paper. So we could go ahead and do that. Trim off the branding strip. And that's just centered. Okay. There. I'm just going to keep the left side here so that you see the connection. Okay, so the connection between the left and the right side again is that we're going to use the similar placemats, as you can I'll call it that, of the scalloped fans. And this is just a bit in reverse order, right? So that's going to be an embellishment grouping of Fun in the Sun, or any other title that you wish. But I do love Fun in the Sun, and this basket of flip-flops, and then of course a refreshing lemonade. I love that. There we go. So that's going to be a layer. That's going to be popped up. Where's my foam adhesive? There we go. There we go. Love that. Okay. And of course, there's this, I have on my example here, dive in, because this is sort of a pool themed page. But if you don't have or want to do a pool themed page, you can choose to have another title like Beat the Heat or something. So in terms, I'm going to just place this here and talk about it. We have, again, that ties into this page are these, again, the gardens. So, and I love that you can just place these under each of the layers. Like how cute is that? So that's a really fun little accent. Okay. So this is just another fun way to use these little garlands. I just find it really celebratory. So it's perfect for any occasion. Okay, so that would go underneath there. And then if you really want to sort of, add up that whole level up, or that summery feel, is that you could use this as a bit like a hanging line of summer icons. So in my case, I have the flip-flops along with the boy and the swimming trunks, the glasses and the suntan lotion. It all sort of just kind of ties into that whimsical summer theme. The photo mats are square photo mats, 3x3 photo mats. Oh, we're going to actually, sorry, one other thing is we're going to just add that little trim here above our fringing. Forgot that. Okay, that just adds a little finishing touch. Okay, and then I thought it would be fun to place the photo sort of just in a angled sort of manner at the top of the page, because it is dive in, but I think it's fun. I think when it's a summer page, that having sort of angled photos just makes it that really fresh movement, whimsy. You could have all sorts of options to have your photos just kind of like go point to that fun in the sun piece. So I left off that dive in piece, but you can, let's choose another option. How about we do like just chill? That would be one in pool party. There we go. Just chill pool party with this little cute donut bowl, and let's just maybe layer in like that. Like, how cute is that? If you're having a pool party, like, look there. So you could do that. You could do a pool party as another option for the title. And so there we have it. Let's just bring both finished pages back down so that you see. All right, so that's pages 3 and 4. And again, tying the two together by just having this layered look. Again, you can just on its own, or together. Okay, so 7:03, yay! So we did it, yay! Well, we did most of it, but again, the instructions are there, the step-by-step instructions. You see how I gave you options on fringing, not fringing, and how we use the papers to cut them apart, to just use them in a different way, and coordinate with a totally different collection. So we brought crafting collection and a summer collection together. And I hope you enjoyed just different ways of looking at the stickers, at the papers, how to create one single page, and then, you know, creating the other half of the page if you want to stretch it into a double. Okay, phew. So, oh my goodness. So I am so happy to have been here with you. Your stomach might be growling, I'm not sure, but phew, you made it through day 2. I hope that your crafting cup is full. I had such a great time with you, and as always, there's so much inspiration to share. I can't wait to see your creations in the albums. Please load them into the albums. If you have any questions on what I've covered so far, there's going to be a section on Facebook for you to ask the questions. It doesn't have to just be today. We'll be checking the groups frequently. So if you're just, catching up on replay right now, and it's it's been a while since we aired live, the group is here for you. We've got you. So anyways, come back for the wrap-up party, or the wrap-up. Apparently there's going to be some surprise, and Megan's in the background going like this, and I have no idea what's in store, but I've been told that once I get out of here, I'm supposed to quickly eat and come back. That's what I'm told to do, and that's what I'll do. So, friends, have a wonderful evening. Come back for the wrap-up, and we'll see you soon.